Hello Internet, Lord Ozunu here. You see, the Mortal Kombat movie that came out recently was kinda different than the Versus movie that we already have. For instance, there was not a fight between a mouse and a cat like in Tom and Jerry, or the giant monkey and lizard. It was more like a giant monster versus the average guy. I mean, it was ridiculous to watch. I mean, why he didn't die after that punch? He was literally punched by a walking bear, and this movie indeed have great fight scene, but that is the only compliment. I mean, I saw the cosplayer that did better job on making the costume that look more authentic. Also, some character kinda look like the character from the game, but in many cases they were completely different. They didn't look like the in-game version at all, and they use some actors that are completely anonymous, the walking meme basically. So I was thinking, why not start with movie where the main character is Johnny Cage and he should play it by Jean-Claude Van Damme. That is the logical choice. Of course, some people say, well, he's old now to play that role, but come on, in the modern time, in re-aging technology, that would be no problem at all. And imagine how awesome would be to say all those references and stuff that Johnny Cage does in his voice and appearance. It would be amazing thing to watch, but no, instead they go for these boring access and movie scenes. They are completely illogical. That is why I use some filmento moments to show you holes in logic of this movie.
I am no longer beyond. I am Sub-Zero.
Okay, but what's the mask for?
Okay, martial arts are nice, and indeed this movie didn't waste time on this gory moment which make Mortal Kombat games great, but the logic of this movie is ridiculous. I mean, come on, we have intergalactic monsters that came into government, and if our character lose, that is going to be end of civilization. Why the heck you are not calling the government, the police? And yeah, we saw that one moment with a gun, but what is the stopping point from sending the SWAT team on that Mortal Kombat tournament? At least call police, for God's sake. And not to mention, from the beginning, entire scene of the chasing was completely ridiculous.
For example, early on in the movie, our MMA hero Cole is out having dinner with his family when our main villain Sub-Zero shows up to hunt him down, prompting this other hero Jax to show up to save them and explain what's going on.
Means you've been chosen.
Chosen? For what?
To fight. As long as you got that mark and they're coming for you. So like it or not, Cole, you're the guy.
But then Jax for some reason turns to an alleyway instead of driving away and decides to stay behind to handle Sub-Zero alone so that Cole can take his family to safety, which of course then leads to... And the issue you'll find is that no matter how cool the fight between Jax and Sub-Zero might be, in the context of the movie, there's no logical reason for it to happen. If the dragon marking makes Cole valuable and Jax has that same marking, why would he endanger himself for no reason? Why not just drive away? It's not like Sub-Zero has been shown to be Frozone who can keep up with the car. There is nothing forcing Jax to stop and engage in this fight. Like, dude, this is a supernatural warrior who can control an element of nature, and you have a gun.
And even though in a video game these two can be presented as equally matched, not so much in a movie.
Imagine if in Terminator Kyle Reese just immediately told Sarah Connor to drive away alone and then followed Arnold into a warehouse to fight him one-on-one. Like, what?
Done 6 tours, motherfucker.
And so ultimately, when Jax then loses the fight and seemingly dies, it's like, well, yeah, that was kinda dumb and pointless.
That is what I say. Even if you want to fight him with a gun, you should have a lot of people. Instead, no, the rest of the movie have to happen, so they just go like... I mean, stake of the planet is on the price. Let's call the FBI, the army. No, we are just going to train. We can deal with all those supernatural monsters that came from the other dimensions. Instead of 100 people with guns, No, one gun is enough.
806 West Washington Boulevard.
Are you sure? We can take him out together. Are you sure? We can take him out together.
And it absolutely will not stop. Ever. Until you are dead.
Are you sure? We can take him out together.
So you can beat a MMA fighter, but you can fight the space ninja? Why not? And also all the revelations in this movie are just thrown around like it's casual thing.
You're a descendant of one of the greatest ninjas to ever walk the earth. He was murdered along with his wife and eldest son by the same assassin that hunts you now. Sub-Zero.
Okay, thanks. Bye.
Also in this movie character just magically brought up, and suddenly we have the character with mechanical hands. I know he's in the game like this, but how? Who do you have in this cave that can actually create a mechanical hand? She didn't bring them as some supernatural or soldier technology. I mean, do you have Tony Stark out there in that cave? For
Sourced every realm to find a way to heal him.
Yeah, other realms and shit. Don't worry about it.
Also in this movie they don't even take a moment to explain how the scene just happened. I mean, for this scene we have literally a character lift a giant rock because he have metallic arms. You know that you have to use strength of the legs or the spine. How those arms work and give them power? God, magic, supernatural force? No, they don't explain at all. We don't know even after the movie. Also one of character is the trader for no logical reason at all.
You can have more money than you know what to do with. Hell, you could turn this old temple into your own casino if you wanted to.
So what would I need to do?
Wait, you are doing this for money, but what are you going to do exactly with the money in a completely new system under the rule of some supernatural creatures? You know that economy only work if the government is on the place, and you cannot live as the rich man in the post-apocalyptic world. Also, why the character that is so proud on the fact that he's a criminal even care for the money that much? And not to mention this movie are constantly changing the logical thing about his character at the first place. I mean, from the beginning he was established as a good fighter, so it will be logical for him to learn how to focus his rage like Vegeta from the Dragon Ball Z, but instead they start doing this for some reason.
Real cute. Let's see you try that again.
They start spamming this one move over and over again. I probably think that it's some kind of reference from the game, and that is why they are pushing it. But that gag was completely destroying his character that was established and completely different from the beginning of this movie. Usually people debate how those things are not really matter in the movie that deal with supernatural things, but you can't dismiss the basic logic of things just because you have a supernatural or sci-fi element in the movie. Also, not to mention how main character have this final fight that should be very important for his character, but it's...
Get over here!
Still not cool like in the original game. And also there was the problem with this scene because from the moment when Scorpion arrived we saw that our main character suddenly fall in the second plan, and now we have the character who just appear out nowhere taking the major fight with our major villain. It was kinda pointless, and not to mention in the movie they literally portrayed a death like nothing. So what's the point of entire tournament? There is no fear of death if you can just return like that. Anyway, that's pretty much what I have to say about this movie. It was completely illogical in several ways. Hope you like this video. As always, hope you learned something. That will be all. Lord Ozunu is out.